The European Parliament on Wednesday passed an emergency plan to relocate 40,000 refugees after members voted on a proposal made by the European Commission in May. Meanwhile, Lebanese anti-government protesters demonstrate in central Beirut as ministers and parliamentarians met to discuss ways out of a political crisis. Ann Nunez will tell us why.
In Lebanon, Lebanese protesters arrived at Martyr Square in central Beirut on Wednesday for an anti-government demonstration as ministers and parliamentarians met to discuss ways out of a political crisis that has paralyzed government and fueled a wave of street protests. Activists mobilizing against government failures, including a rubbish disposal crisis that has allowed garbage to pile up in Beirut, gathered for protests but were kept away from government buildings by soldiers and barbed wire fences as politicians held meetings behind the barricades. A national dialogue meeting called for by Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri ended with no apparent decision for a way out of a deadlock that has seen the cabinet struggle to take basic decision and kept the presidency vacant for more than a year. A spokesman said after the meeting that another session would be held in a week's time. In France, the European Parliament on Wednesday passed an emergency plan to relocate 40,000 refugees after members voted on a proposal made by the European Commission in May. A total of 498 members voted for the plan, with 158 against and 37 abstentions, at a European Parliament plenary session in the French city of Strasbourg. The proposal from the European Union's executive arm calls for the distribution of 40,000 migrants and refugees from Italy and Greece among its member states. But poorer Eastern European countries such as Poland, Hungary, and the Czech Republic have been resistant to the settlement quotas. Europe is this year weathering the biggest refugee crisis it has seen in decades, with its countries sharply divided over how to cope with the wave of arrivals. Ann Nunez reporting for Wine News.